Hey everyone, my name is Chris Lambert, and on this channel we talk Kanye West. And today we're going to be going over the continuous flow of Kanye West tweets, detailing some of the things that he was talking about, getting more in depth into some of the people that he's mentioned, and also, some good old fashioned speculation. So starting off, Kanye, what's today, the 19th? Okay, so yesterday, Kanye tweeted about how we will change the paradigm. And then also said, "Good morning, music world. These are two of the most powerful and knowledgeable people in music. All negotiations will be transparent. Artists will own their masters." So Kanye really has been on this campaign to talk with the most powerful people in music, especially the people that own Universal, not just like the executives at Universal, but the people that own Universal, and talk to others that are really power players and can move and shift things in the industry. So you have Mercuriadis and Joel Katz. So Merc here, you can see 56 years old, born in Quebec, Canada, and you can see that he has had a pretty huge career. Just even from here, he has managed artists like Nile Rodgers, Beyonce, Elton John, Guns N' Roses, Iron Maiden, Morrissey, Pet Shop Boys, Macy Gray, Mary J. Blige, Joss Stone, Jane's Addiction, and Catherine Wheel. And he served as director of the CEO of Sanctuary Group PLC from 1986 to 2007. It was the largest independent record label in the UK and largest independent music management company in the world. So this is somebody that has definitely been in the independent scene, right, rather than in that Universal space. But coming from Virgin, he has that background in kind of the mega music space. And you can see went on to found Sanctuary Records Group and worked with all of these artists, including Destiny's Child and Beyonce and Mick Fleetwood and Tommy Lee, The Who, and Robert Plant. Like, crazy how many people he's worked with. Ozzy and Kelly Osbourne, all this stuff. So he retired from there in 2006, I think it was. And then he's the founder of the Hypnosis Songs Fund Limited. And I think this is kind of where Kanye's bringing Merc into this. So it's a music IP investment company, So in 2019 interview with the journal Thought Economics, he said, "I have always believed that hit songs and music, art in general, has real value to it. What people don't really recognize is that when a song becomes a proven song, the earnings pattern to it becomes very predictable and reliable, and is therefore investable," which is kind of wild to think about. So when a song reaches a certain point, you can see where it gets its profit from, what the life cycle of it's like, and invest accordingly. And these songs are as valuable as gold or oil. The company raised more than $300 million US to fund the acquisition of copyrights in June 2018 and began trading on the London Stock Exchange as Song. Its first acquisition was a majority stake in the Dreams 302 song catalog, which included hits such as Justin Bieber's Baby, Beyonce's Single Ladies, and Rihanna's Umbrella. It has since acquired 100% of the Pooh Bear, Tricky Stewart, TMS, and Giorgio Tufort catalogs, as well as a stake in the catalog of Chick co-founder Bernard Edwards, which kind of strange to think about, right? Like, it's not just artists not owning their work because of a record deal, right? Like Universal has it or somebody else has it. You now have somebody like Merc here who is investing using like pooled money from other wealthy people or just like the stock, right? To invest in song catalogs, and then they own the catalogs and are making money off of it the same way that people would be making money off of any other investment fund, which is kind of wild to think about, because why wouldn't a company like start looking for that as the option to do with their masters, right? Okay, I could sell Kanye's masters back to Kanye, or I could sell them to this group that's going to buy Kanye's masters for $500 million, like $1 billion, and do whatever else with it. I think that's kind of the worst case scenario. I don't know enough about Hypnosis at this point to know if they're like being responsible or if it's kind of just like the worst case scenario of like capitalism in effect, right? In terms of like artists and how somebody's benefiting off of artists. It is strange given Merck's background, and maybe this is just on me not understanding, right? Because you think somebody that ran the largest independent record label and largest independent music management company in the world would maybe be more inclined to be helping artists rather than just saying like, you know what, I'm going to buy their whole catalog and I'm going to own like 100% of Beyonce's Baby or Single Ladies, like all of this stuff. It's a little, So definitely something, I guess, for like you futurists out there to pay attention to, but it's raised nearly what, $1 billion like in pounds, 1 billion pounds to fund acquisition since it was established in 2018. At the close of its first full year as a publicly traded company, its catalog totaled more than 5,000 songs. Of those, approximately 2,000 had been number one hits somewhere in the world, and 4,000 had reached the top 10. 5 songs co-owned by Hipgnosis appeared in the top 10 on the Billboard Hot 100 of the Decade chart. In July 2020, it was reported that the Hipgnosis music rights portfolio, consisting of approximately 13,300 songs, had been independently valued at more than 760 million pounds. In August 2020, its market cap valuation exceeded 1 billion. So this is a very successful endeavor that Merck went on here. And this is somebody that Kanye is trying to talk with because this is somebody really at the heart of ownership of content. And then you have Joel Katz here, which all I could really find was Joel Katz. He's a chief counsel. Okay. So he was accused of sexual harassment by Deborah Dugan. So, I guess just Joel Katz has been like a chief counsel to the Grammys for a long time. And because he is such a powerful attorney within the world of music, that's somebody else that Kanye wants to meet with. Like, yo, you're responsible probably for a ton of these contracts and the language around them and the legality of the music industry. So let's have a conversation. And then here, Universal sold Tencent, a Chinese company, 10%. This took me a little while to parse out. 10% at a $33 billion valuation. Principal is Vincent Belair. Universal owned a chunk of Spotify that was given to them for agreeing to license artists' masters, flowed through nothing to artists. Yeah, okay, so this is what Universal did. It sold Tencent, a Chinese company, 10% at $33 billion. So here's Tencent. There's the headquarters. Strange building. But it's a Chinese multinational technology conglomerate holding company. Founded in 1998, its subsidiary Global Market various internet-related services and products, including in entertainment, artificial intelligence, and other technologies. Its twin skyscraper headquarters, also known as Tencent Binhai Mansion, are based in the Nashan district of Shenzhen. It's the world's largest video game vendor as one of the most financially valuable companies. It is among the largest social media, venture capital, and investment corporations. Its services include social network, music web portal, blah, 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 blah. It has stakes in over 600 companies and recent focus on tech startups in Asia. Subsidiaries, Epic Games, Funcom, Grinding Gear Games, Minicap, Tencent, blah, blah, blah. Spotify, it has a 10%. Warner Music Group, Universal Music Group, Snap, and Tesla. Yeah, that's pretty big. And then Epic Games. Does Epic Games do Fortnite? I don't know anything about Fortnite. Yeah, Fortnite. Okay. Hey, I knew something. Okay, so that's something else that Kanye's just calling out. Like, Universal sold like 10% of its company, like that much value. $33 billion is just like a 10-cent... or $33 billion evaluation is just like a huge evaluation, like a monstrous evaluation. And then Principal is Vincent Belair, who had made an appearance just last week, a few days ago. He's the one that owns the holding company, the Belair Group, that actually owns the majority stake in Vivendi, which Vivendi is a company that owns Universal Music Group. So he's essentially saying that Belair is the one that sold part of Universal to Tencent, or maybe just saying that Belair is like the principal owner of Universal. I think that's more it. Okay. Universal own a chunk of Spotify, and I guess he's just kind of pointing out how like rigged against the artist this is. Like, you have this company based on the hard work of artists being earned or being valued at $33 billion, and they're selling parts off, they're like buying chunks of Spotify and getting money from Spotify, or being given chunks of Spotify and getting money from that, but the artists don't see anything. Like there's no changes to the contracts, there's no windfall, there's no like bonus, like good job y'all, like here's an extra $1,000. It's just like the company continues to benefit off the hard work of the artists. And granted, yes, you're always going to have people that defend the company, like it's putting up risk, it's doing work, etc., etc. And I'll continuously counter that with the fact that these mega companies have rigged the system to where the artists are dependent on them, to where everything does have to flow through them. So yes, they're taking on risk, but they also have rigged the game to where they're always going to make money back eventually, and are doing very well financially. And the system, they have so much control over it that artists don't really have any other options until recently, but I'm sure they're working hard to take those options away as well. So yeah, I'm anti-company here. For those of you that are pro-company, like good on you, fight your fight, educate me, where I miss, but at the same time. And then you have Free Suge, Suge Knight. He's a volatile figure in the hip hop world. A lot of people blame him for a lot of the violence and attitude of the 90s hip hop era. Or maybe even if he's not to blame, he really embodied a lot of the aggression and attitude that went on. Like people tend to blame him for things with Tupac and Biggie, and just he was running kind of he had a house that was not in order, so to speak, when it came to just like decency. I'm saying he's a bad person. I think Suge Knight's a bad person. So Kanye is saying free Suge, and I'm just like, no, no, Suge's bad. Don't free Suge. Suge's in jail for a reason. And then you have Free Hoover, Larry Hoover. He was in the gang world in Chicago, like way back in the day. Larry Hoover's 69 years old at this point, and he was still running his gang from prison and got sent to jail for murder. Apparently there was somebody in his gang that he didn't like what they were doing and beat the guy to death, but he got like a life sentence. And then because he was still running the gang in jail, he got like more sentences. He's now in jail for like 200 years. And people have argued that like since the early 90s, he's kind of reformed and changed like what his gang was to be more about social developments. And because of that, he has a lot of people in the Chicago area that have really rooted for him and stand by him, not just in the community, but they're leaders in the community that also think like Larry Hoover should have a chance at being free because he's been doing good work even from jail to help benefit the community. And Kanye, for a few years now, has also been saying like free Larry Hoover. He even pitched it to Trump. But there's actually conversation at this point about like adding sentences on to Larry Hoover, which is just wild. But Kanye talking about that and then saying, haha, I got my Twitter back. Yeah, he certainly did. He certainly did. And then I'm the head of Adidas. Like he's speculating. Like it was a little shocking to read this and be like, oh? But he said, I'm the head of Adidas. And he had tweeted, there's one that's deleted. They said that I'm the head of Adidas. I'm going to get rid of laces. Like shoes aren't going to have shoelaces, like 21st century. And then he followed that up with, I'm the head of Adidas. I will bring Adidas and Puma back together and bring me and Jay back together. All Puma's designs are embarrassingly trash, but I will personally design Puma and Adidas and make everything okay. Which is just like such a good tweet. I know there are people that like love Puma. I remember when I was in college way back in the day in 2005 to 2009, Puma started to like catch on. Like there were people like rocking it, thinking it was cool. And there was that like brief window where it was like, oh, Puma's like a trend. And then I feel like the designs just never updated, like really fell behind the times, and it's struggle season, I think, for Puma in general. But the reason why Kanye mentions like him and Jay back together, Puma and Adidas both were founded by like siblings, like brothers that I think were in Adidas together and then had like a huge fight, and the one went and founded Puma. And this was like off in Europe, and they were arguing and fighting with each other. There's actually I'm pretty sure a Business Wars podcast episode about it, and then legitimately like a book written about the companies and like the history of the companies. Yeah, Sneaker Wars, the enemy brothers who founded Adidas and Puma. So there you go. So that's why Kanye's kind of like bringing it back to Jay-Z, is just the fact that like those were two brothers that had a rift and have these like very successful brands. Like Jay and I have had a rift. We're very successful in each of our brands. We should get back together. Like he will fix things. Kanye will fix things. And it goes from that to Yeezy Christian Academy. Jesus is so good. Won't he do it? And you can see the YCA shirt. So the Yeezy Christian Academy shirt, which is pretty funny. But the matching outfits, you know, even though school uniforms are like a thing, academy uniforms are a thing, it's definitely not going to help the Kanye's leading a cult conversation. A creed for all warriors who fight in the name of Jesus, yeah, also not going to help. Jesus to protect our children at all costs. We are not afraid of death. We are not afraid of humiliation. We are not afraid of bankruptcies. We only fear God. So Kanye just, you know, on his like Jesus talk. I'm going to personally see to it that Taylor Swift gets her masters back. Scooter is a close family friend. That was out of the blue too. Like you're just like watching this unfold and you're like, how can he top the Puma tweets? And then, yeah, this is how, by saying that he's going to get Taylor's masters back. So this was kind of a big deal because Taylor left Broken Machine Record, which she had been at. It was where she had first signed when Broken Machine said it was going to sell the company. And Taylor was like, okay, cool. Let me buy my masters. And they're like, well, we want to sell the company, remember? And she's like, yeah. And they're like, well, if we sell you your masters, then we can't really sell the company to the people that we want to because your masters are part of that. And Taylor's like, let me have my masters. And they're like, nope, sold it to Scooter Braun. And Scooter, who is a close family friend to Kanye, close family friend to Bieber, discovered Justin Bieber and has managed Bieber like ever since discovering him. But Scooter's a little controversial just because he had taken Kanye and Bieber's side. Controversial in like the realm of Taylor Swift and to Taylor Swift fans, right? Because he had taken Kanye and Bieber's side in the past and had been, I guess, antagonistic for Taylor or towards Taylor in association with people that she didn't like. And for him to then own her music was something that was like very galling for her. Like she made some very bold and like not mincing words statements about how unhappy she was, not just with the owner of Broken Machine Records, but also like Scooter Braun to the fact that where like her fans were like sending Scooter Braun's family death threats and like all this crazy stuff. But Kanye's saying like, I'm going to talk with Scooter. I'm going to get you your masters, which could you imagine that's the world that we end up in where like Scooter Braun's just like, Taylor, here's your masters. Like Kanye's there. And then Taylor and Kanye become friends again to change the music industry forever. That would... Nobody would see that coming, but that would be quite the narrative. Quite the narrative. Culture is the most powerful force in humanity under God. This was a little controversial because Kanye has said multiple times recently that, especially when talking about like monolithic thought and being told what he can do, what he can say, he's talked about how like the culture doesn't always know and like very much like about the culture and not being with the culture. Like you need to stand on your own. I'm not just going to vote for somebody because of that. I'm not just going to say what I need to say because of that. So there were some people that were just like, yeah, what happened to not following the culture anymore? I'm confused. And you have Chanos here excited by being like, culture does not equal the culture. And just getting into this like word debates about, okay, is culture and the culture the same thing? Can you talk about like culture with a lowercase c versus the culture with a capital C? But that was interesting. And then we're going to transparently change every album deal, every publishing deal, every merch deal, mech deal. Just you imagine hip hop artists selling mechs to each other and getting mechs. Merch deal, every touring deal except for Drake's deal. Like just dropping like humor and like thought-provoking tweets. Like September 18th, 2020 will live in infamy when it comes to Kanye Twitter, you know? Except for Drake's deals. Just kidding. I love Drake too. All artists must be free. So, like, the controversial relationship he has with Jay-Z now, the controversial relationship he has with Taylor Swift now, the controversial relationship he has with Drake. Kanye drops all three of those all in the span of like an hour. And then takes a little bit of a break and then comes back with this picture, Greatness in the Making. And you can see here, they're in the studio. Like, in the studio, something's happening, something's being cooked up. So that would be awesome. And you can see the photos of Kimye said that's Jamaican artist Buju Banton to the right of Kanye. Nice. Kanye's worked with Jamaican artists before, most notably Yeezus has a number of Jamaican artists and Jamaican artist references on it. And then here you have Yeezy Christian Academy V1. And you can see this wall. It's not a really great picture, but I think what we're looking at here is this property. So this is one of like the auxiliary properties Kanye has in Calabasas. And they had put a white wall up around it. And Kanye had actually posted a video from this. You can see in this corner here, the garden in the back. And Kanye had had a video the other day about them like farming and trying out some farming. So I think he's just like in this area taking a photo of this wall. You can kind of see the plant there, and that's what that is. And then Steve Rifkin pulling up to change the music game forever. Steve Rifkin, it's Ye. Imagine just getting that text. It's Ye. Enough said. It's me. I'm Ye. Ye. Hey, it's Rifkin. Great response by Rifkin. I know you're going to Atlanta to see Cats. Let me know if tomorrow or Monday is good for you so I can tell you my plan. Just tried you. I'm going to come. Just on the phone. I'll put you on a jet. You signed Wu-Tang. Yeah, gotta have respect for that. It took Kanye texted him on Thursday. That's Friday, Saturday. This man waited to respond. But Rifkin is an American music entrepreneur. He's the founder and chairman of Loud Records and of SRC Records. He's associated with artists such as Wu-Tang, Mobb Deep, Akon, David Banner, Asher Roth, Joel Ortiz, and Big Pun. Rifkin has also launched marketing campaigns for companies like T-Mobile, Adidas, SanDisk, Nike, Pepsi, Levi Jeans, and Starter. According to XXL Magazine, he's responsible for breaking in some of hip-hop's biggest artists in his 25 years of business. So yeah, that's kind of a big deal. Kanye, again, like stirring up all of this energy and meeting with some of the biggest movers and shakers the industry has had over the last 25, 30 years. Speaking bigs now, I don't know. I don't know what that means. I shouldn't have said anything about Puma publicly. I apologize to Emery and Jay and the entire Puma crew. Which is funny because the tweet's still up. I thought I'd delete it. He's deleted so many tweets, but no, he left that one up. So at least he's aware that he trashed Puma for being trash designs, but still made his voice heard. And then 2 years ago, we had 250 million people subscribed to music streaming. This is also interesting. Music streaming services around the world. That can't be right. Like only 50 million people subscribed 2 years ago. It has to be more than that. But today we have 400 million. It has to be more than 50. Like, 8 times growth. By the end of this year, we'll have 460 million. By the end of the decade, we'll have 2 billion as projected by JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs. So maybe, what do I know? Like, Kanye's getting his figures from JP Morgan and Goldman Sachs. But this might be a big deal because... Oh, no. Okay. So I was thinking Yeezy Sound. Kanye's talked about Yeezy Sound for a couple years, and we had rumors about Yeezy Sound just being like the company through which Kanye sold, whatchamacallit, like production that they didn't end up using on albums. So say Kanye has like 10 different people try out drum samples or drum arrangements for a song. And he's like, no. All right, this 35th version of it is what I want. They might keep that, but then sell off to other people or give away to other people all the other versions. So you might be able to sell some of those for another like $500, another $1,000, $10,000. I don't know what the money is, but they started doing that, I'm pretty sure, from what Malik Yusuf said, and I think from something like Sci-Hi said. So that's what Yeezy Sound was essentially doing, was like selling out the unused scraps from these Kanye projects or other good music projects, right? But then recently, Kanye had tweeted a photo of the dry erase board that said Yeezy Sound, and it had a roster of performers on it. The world famous Tony Williams, Casey Pluto, Sci-Hi the Prince, Pusha, some like good music familiars, like some of the people that you would most recognize as being associated with Kanye. And it seemed like Yeezy Sound then was going to be like a new label, like a new management company, something like that. Like it had a roster. But then when Kanye tweeted this, it goes back to the original speculation that Yeezy Sound was going to be some Kanye curated streaming platform. That had been kind of the initial expectations and rumors around it, kind of like his own version of Tidal or Spotify, but maybe a little more niche, because how are you really going to just differentiate yourself in this market? So when Kanye tweeted this, I was first thinking like, okay, he has his mind on a streaming service. But now that I'm thinking about it in terms of what he had been saying, like back here, he's looking more at just like the value of the industry, right? And why artists may not be getting the value that they deserve for an industry that they've essentially created with not getting any of the benefits, while all the corporate entities get all of the benefits from all of these new users, all of this stuff. Like, why are they feasting so much more than what the artists actually are, when the artists are the ones doing a majority of the work, you know? Without them, nobody's going to be on streaming services for trash and garbage music. So I wonder if that's more where Kanye is going with that. Anyway, that does it. That's it for this video. It's finito. So I get to do my closing spiel now, which, if you're enjoying the channel and you want to help us, the easiest way is liking, commenting, subscribing, as those things tell YouTube that this is a channel people enjoy, and then they show it to more people. Like, most of our views come from the browse feature. I think it's something like 40% of our lifetime views have come from that. So all of your liking, commenting, and subscribing definitely helps. And then the thing that we're most well known for is our line-by-line analysis of Kanye's discography. The same way that like I kind of talk about this, my co-host Travis and I go in depth into Kanye's discography, and it will forever change the way that you listen to Kanye's music. You can get a sample of what it is we do on Apple Podcasts, Spotify. Just look up Watching the Throne. There's some episodes there, but we're releasing 2 new episodes a week on our Patreon as we go back through Kanye's discography for the second time, really bringing to bear everything that we learned the first time through. So we're currently in the midst of our late registration season, but you can hear a lot of our other content and seasons on Patreon, where on the public feed, much less available. It's just mostly like teasers and some other stuff. So you can find like random episodes here and there, but for the full feast, go to patreon.com/Kanye podcast. And that's all I got. Until next time, stay wavy and keep it loopy. Cheers.